Do it. You know, and that's just part of the deal. That's why we practice, okay? But just know that I can see you guys anticipating moments. I can see you going, okay, here comes the moment that we planned.
Yeah.
Here comes the way I'm going to deliver the line. I practiced it this way, so now I got to do it that way.
Yeah.
Rather than, this scene supposedly has never happened.
Yeah.
So if you open the door, and Chanel, you look at him and you don't feel like hitting him, you can't hit him.
Yeah.
And if you don't feel like saying something a certain way, you can't say it the way you planned.
Gotcha.
At this point, even in a cold reading scenario, there's no more what it should be. It's too late. You'll never save the scene by giving me what you think it's supposed to be. Ever. You will always fail because it's not honest.
Yeah.
I would rather you just deliver it as is. If you're in the scene and he opens the door and you feel nothing, then you have to deliver it with nothing, because that's what you're really feeling.
Yeah.
And the audience is smart enough to pick up on that. You know, if she comes in and you look at her and you're not feeling what you thought you should feel, you got to deliver it how you're feeling in the moment while you're doing it. It's too late to go to the place that you thought you should go to. So the principle to remember is that, first of all, there's two steps to the process. There's the preparing and the executing. Okay, so let's say I'm preparing a scene. I'm working on it, and now I'm going to execute it. Let's say there's a version of a scene, a cold reading, and I've given you the scene and you have 30 minutes to work on it. You need a pen?
I have.
Oh, okay. So let's say you're doing a scene and you have 30 minutes to prepare it. Okay? You're outside, you're working on it for 30 minutes. You have to be very selective about what you use that time for, because you're limited. You know, the scenario would be like, I like what you did, but I want you to read a different role. So go outside and practice it and come in when you're ready. So you come in and you've worked on it some, not a lot. So when you come in, here you are, you're in scene. Now, just know that the amateur actor is going to be the one that's trying to make it something now. I'm going to make this thing happen. I'm going to make it emotional. And that's the amateur actor trying to make sure certain things are coming through. Now, the seasoned actor is going to be the one going, you know, it may not come through and it's too late anyway, so I have to deliver it without whatever I thought it was going to be. And that's going to be harder to do because you're basically accepting the fact that it may be boring and delivering it boring. But at least it's honest. It's hard to do what I'm asking you to do, by the way. This is not like some easy deal.
Yeah.
It's way harder to do what I'm asking you to do because it's requiring a lot of faith and trust that I may fail, I may suck, I may be boring, and I'm going to do it that way. I can't tell you how many performances I have ruined by trying to save them, by making them emotionally charged, thinking I nailed it, and then I don't get called back, wondering why. It was because I tried to make it. That's why the term performing is so bad for an actor, because it implies doing, making, getting up there and acting. It should really, in my opinion, just be called reacting, receiving, listening, trusting. You're trying to duplicate human behavior. So anytime you go against the grain of human behavior in a cold reading scenario or a prepared scene scenario, you fail. Because you're not duplicating human behavior. And in a cold reading, which is what I'm looking at this as now, so you did better. Even if it's a cold reading, you still can't save the scene by making it emotional. The casting directors smell that out. They're too good. You know? Melodramatic means I'm making it something. I'm doing my thing. Instead of he opens the door and I don't feel organically, honestly seeing him and pushing him, then you don't push him.
I didn't feel like doing it when I did it.
Well, but the thing is that What's that?
It's funny how that works. Like I didn't feel it before I.
So what do? Don't do it.
But then you'll tell me that I'm not like getting where I.
So what I'm saying to you is, it would have been
So I was
better.
afraid to-
No, hold on a second. It's always better if you have to fail at being believable
Yeah. Then just act.
than acting.
Yeah. Got it.
You will never save the scene that way. If you have to fail, veer on failing at being believable. Try to at least keep it believable. You're never going to save it by trying to make it emotional. It's the same thing in comedy. You'll never save a scene by being funny. You always want to, if you have to fail at being on the believability side, not at the trying to be funny side. Same thing here. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
So this is going to happen, okay? You're going to be, especially if you audition for commercials, they give you the lines there at the audition. You have like 15 minutes. So you go out, you do your breathing, you do the objective a few times in the parking lot or in your car, you run it a few times, and then you come in and you do it. But you don't do it by performing it. You do it by receiving and trusting. Way harder to do that.